Welcome to the Slow Foods Kitchen channel. My name is Felicia TAPPAN. I'm a co-founder of Slow Foods Kitchen along with my partner Amanda Gurton. And this is our channel where we will teach you how to live more plant-based because we took about 20 years to make the transition ourselves and we love it and we're enjoying it. So we're going to share it with you. So we also have a business, Slow Foods Kitchen, and we make awesome kale chips. You can find them online at our website, slowfoodskitchen.com. You can Google them and find them on Amazon and Walmart, and we're excited to add to that list every day. So today, when my kids were little, I raised them on tuna fish salad, good white tuna fish. Loved it, but plant-based, we have come up with chickpea salad, and we love it probably more than tuna fish salad. So you can get the recipe in the description box below, so feel free to do that. So I'm going to go through how we make it and talk about how you can make it at home. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take, we have 2 cans of chickpeas, which we've drained and rinsed already. Now the can of chickpeas says it's 15 ounces, but by the time you drain it, get all the water out, you really technically only have about 8 ounces of chickpeas. So keep that in mind when you're buying chickpeas, and if you have a lot of hungry children to feed, you'll need to make more. So the first thing you do is drain it. Put 1 can in your bowl, and then we're going to put 6 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Note that we are using Vegenasie original, so this is a vegan mayonnaise. You can also get it made with grape seed oil, which is really tasty too, but today it's original. You can also get it soy free, so whatever you're into, we highly recommend this brand, but any brand that you like is good. 6 tablespoons is how do you like that? 6 tablespoons is basically a heaping quarter cup, okay, because there's 16 tablespoons in a cup. That means there's 8.5 of a cup, so a quarter of a cup would be about like so. And it also, recipes are guides. They're not something you have to go by. So if you don't like as much mayonnaise, just put a quarter cup. If you like extra mayonnaise, I would wait until we get through the mashing process to make sure that you really do want more mayonnaise. So I'm going to put the mayonnaise to the side. Now, if you have a food processor, you feel free to put this step into a food processor, but we're just going to do it by hand. So we're going to mash it with this cool potato masher that I got at the dollar store. I paid a big whopping $1 for it. So what I'm doing is I'm going to mash these up and get them nice and mushy with the mayonnaise. And then after I get them just the way I like it, pretty mushed, then I'm going to add the second can of chickpeas, which has also been drained. And I'm going to mash those also, but not quite as intensely as the first can. Because the first can with the mayonnaise, you're basically sort of creating your sauce for your salad, so to speak. Making it a smooth, creamy, yummy. So now I've got that pretty mashed up. It's still just a little chunky, as you can see. See, there's still not a lot. So when I put in the second can, so I'm going to mash them, but not quite so much. I want to bust most of them, but I'm not going to totally mash them. And then there'll be a few that are whole, so it gives you more substance. And so that's about good. And once you make it a couple times, it's all about personal preference. How do you like it? How much mushy do you like it? Or do you really don't like it mushy? Remember, recipes are just guides. They're not... Get it all out of there. So the next step, now that we have that done, I'm just going to hide that right there instead of making a mess. Okay, is we're going to take some red grapes, approximately 1/2 pound. I personally like lots of grapes in my salads, any of the types of salads. So I'm going to take all these grapes off. I'm going to show you how I just slice them in half. garbage. I'm just going to do this little pile here. So put them in a pile. Now, if you're afraid to do this with a knife in your hand, you could use a flat plate. If you wanted to, like, I'm just going to show you, like I could take this plate, put it on top of the grapes, and I could hold the knife about halfway and just slice them. This also, does protect your hand. I would highly recommend this. If I was home in the kitchen alone, I'd probably just use my hand and go for it. So now they're all cut basically in half. Isn't that nice? So we're going to tuck those, throw them in the salad. We're going to do the second bunch. We'll do them the same way because we surely don't want to have any mishaps on camera with like cuts and blood everywhere. But it has happened, right? Okay. So here we go. Put them in a little circle. Make sure your plate is flat. Anything that's flat will do. Take the knife, just kind of hold it about halfway in the middle of the grapes. These grapes are really small too. If you use big grapes and you don't like big chunks, then you might want to chop them a little extra after you get them. You know, you would just like chop them a little bit if you like smaller chunks. I like big chunks because I really love biting into this salad and tasting the grapes. It's like a nice juicy surprise. And then we have a 1/4 cup of craisins, and keep in mind everything that we're using is organic, even the craisins. Hard to find them without sugar, but it can be done. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of hemp hearts. Yep. Sprinkle in some hemp hearts. 2 tablespoons. And then ground flax. Now I recommend that you use fresh ground flax because once you grind it, you're releasing the oils, and if you don't use it up quick enough or you forget to store it in the refrigerator, it's going to go bad quicker. So we're good. And what this does is, if you're not familiar with flax, it will kind of gel up and helps your salad get thick. And it's also a good source of nutrition. So we have all that in there. Then we are going to take, the recipe says 2 or 3 celery stalks. These are small. And again, I really like lots of vegetables in my salad. So I'm just going to take the larger ends of the celery and cut those down the middle. Then I'm going to put them all together. And then I'm just going to chop away. If any of you aren't familiar with how to chop vegetables, I'm bending my fingers and putting the knuckles up against the knife so that my tips of my fingers are actually away from the blade, and I don't have to worry about cutting them. And then once you get close, you can, to the end, finish it off. And then these nice cool plastic cutting boards are nice because you can just pick them up, easily fold them, and get that stuff in there. We also have 1/4 cup approximately of some white onion. Now, you can measure it if you like, but I just kind of figure out what looks like 1/4 cup, because back again to that personal preference. You like a lot of veggies, you put a lot of veggies. Like when I cook with garlic, I guarantee you whatever it calls for garlic, I'm going to put in 2 to 3 times as much garlic. Now the onions are a stronger flavor, so I'm going to chop them up a little finer, because not everybody is a fan of onions, even though they're quite good for us. So maybe for especially children, when I used to make that tuna salad I talked about for the kids for years, I chopped up onions and celery so fine they didn't even know it was in there. And then when they got to be teenagers, when I was in the kitchen one day and they were like wanting to know how I made that tuna salad, and as soon as they saw that I had celery and onions in there, they're like, "Ooh, I'm not eating that." And I'm like, "Well, you've been eating it since you were like a toddler, so good luck with that." So you can, the point being that you want to get your kids to eat good food, just chop it up real fine when they're little. Next ingredients. We need a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. So I'm gonna take my lemon, I'm gonna roll it on the table. What that's gonna do is kind of break up those little cells in there to make it easier to juice. So that's gonna be approximately half of this lemon. I'm gonna take this and just gonna take my spoon and push inside the lemon and turn the lemon as I do it, and rub the spoon on the inside of the lemon to push as much juice out as I can. And I'm actually going to measure this so you can see exactly that I did. And this isn't actually a really juicy lemon. You know, when you're picking your lemons up at the produce store and you feel them, if they're, you know, kind of soft, that means they're really juicy. If they're really hard, they're not going to be very juicy. Keep that in mind when you're shopping for your lemons. So I'm going to put in, for first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pick out the seed. Sometimes I leave them in just to be silly. Look at there, 1 tablespoon exactly. And that was a larger lemon. And put that away. 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper. Not everybody has 1/8 of a teaspoon. I happen to have 1/4 and 1/8 here. And I also have a set of dash, pinch, and a smidgen. And for years I'm like, well, how much is a dash, a smidgen, a pigeon? Well, dash, pinch, smidgen. Well, you have 1/4 of a teaspoon right here. 1/2 of a 1/4 is 1/8, and it just keeps going down. 1/2 of 1/8 is a dash. 1/2 of a dash is a pinch, and 1/2 of a pinch is a smidgen. That's how that works. So since I already have an 1/8, the recipe calls for 1/8. So we're going to take 1/8 teaspoon of some nice, good sea salt. Actually, this is real salt, which you can buy in the store. The brand name is Real, R-E-A-L. And it's got the vitamins, or minerals rather. You know, you can see them, the flecks of the good stuff in there. Then the pepper, we're also going to put 1/8. Now our pepper, we always use whole pepper corns in everything we do in our kitchen, and we grind it as we need it. We might grind up a week's worth at a time. And the black pepper, I like lots of it, so I put double in because I like it. That's my personal preference. If you don't like it, don't put twice. And then my partner loves pickle relish, so we put 1/4 of a cup in because that's all we had, but she would probably prefer 1/2 a cup. And then, hey, it's all in there. Now we're going to stir it up, as you can see, and it's done. Now, I talked a lot and took a lot longer. I mean, you do this at home, you're going to probably take us half as much time as I just did yakking on this video. So, I have a piece of bread. I'm going to chop the bread in half so it'll look pretty. The pretty way. The chef way, chefy. You're going to put some on your bread, and you're going to have lunch. Serve it with a little salad. Good to go. Or a fork like that. Chickpea salad. Lunch is ready and served. And you know how the internet works. If you like what we're doing, go down below, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share us with people. Let us, you know, if you like what you're seeing. We're sharing everything we know that we've learned. Not that we're, you know, experts or trained. We are just, we've learned the hard way by doing, and we want to keep you from having to learn the hard way. So, stay tuned for our next video.
Next Friday.
Stay tuned. Check in next Friday for our new video. Bye. What's the name of our channel? Slow Foods Kitchen. We're still in blooper mode, folks. Welcome to the Slow Foods Kitchen channel, where we teach you how to live plant-based, a little more easier. So, what we do, cut, take 2. which is
Doesn't matter. See you on Friday.
see you on Friday. Check in and find out.
Stay tuned.